Hi, I'm Shoddy. Today we're gonna play Betrayal Krondor episode 10. Where did we leave off? I think I found a bunch of dragon armor for my guys, and we're at Sildon. I think we went in there, talked to people. We're trying to figure out the, is there even a journal in this game? I don't think there is. Doesn't look like it. We're trying to figure out the story of the murders in Romney. We've got this bronze spyglass and a little spider statue thingamabobber. And I think maybe we can go talk to this R. Lee guy if we find out a way around his guard. Place is abandoned. Oh yeah, forgot to look around through the spyglass. Single spoiled food. I should pick that up and give it to R. Lee, but I think my people will eat it on my way and I don't want that. Food and lodging. Oh, I could use some food. Oh, that's way too expensive. 12 gold for 4 rations? This house. Another tavern. James sniffed. Stepping just inside the tavern's doorway, detected the faint but familiar scent of lye and more pungent aromas that were meant to erase. They were meant to erase. It would be a foolish tavern keeper who neglected to have a cleaning boy close at hand, where men drank to excess. Yeah, it's too expensive. Wonder, was it always that expensive, or... Hello? Is the food always that expensive? Or is the game... depending on the season and stuff? The owner of the house, a bearded man of about 50, obviously saw James approaching because the door swung open before he had a chance to knock. Good day to you, sirs. My name is Buck Rosh, and who might you be? James made the appropriate introductions, and the man smiled at them warmly. Then he said, "The river has been fruitful this season. Could I interest you fine gents in some dried trout, or perhaps you'd like to buy one of my handmade shovels, perhaps a torch? Maybe a torch." This guy's got cheap rations. We'll buy his. Okay. Give everybody 14, I guess. And enough. Keep out. Alright, this is where R. Lee is. I did look it up. You can either put poison rations in the box, or you can try to sneak up on the house. Darn. I don't have the food. I don't know how to sneak up on the house either. How this would do. Another way around. Yeah, we can go to the north around behind the field. We need rest. There we go. Why does he have 2 wells? Water and water. Uh-oh. Preoccupation had dulled his senses. Aware as if someone had thrown water over him during a pleasant dream, James grabbed Owen's shoulder. "Don't move, there's something not right about the ground before us. I guess there's a trap." Have I solved this one before? It doesn't look like it. But crystal here, and then over here, and the solid one goes in front of this one. Oops, we missed it. We can push it that way. That actually didn't help. Or did it? No, I had to push it this way. Already made a mistake. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to eat a fireball. I wonder if I can take 0 damage from that fireball with Skin of the Dragon. Nice. Did it put me on the road? Right, Arlie. The Reeve met them at the door, nearly bald except for a few short tufts of hair which cropped behind his ears like untended weeds. The Chief Reeve was a surprisingly small man for the position of power he held among the guilds of the Romney. Smiling fiercely at him, he slapped James' shoulder with a heat-blistered hand. Arlie Steel Soul here, he said. If nothing else, you've got chutzpah. Not many men see that trap out there and have the gumption to try to come through it. I wanted to at least talk to whoever had the guts and the smarts to pull it off. He invited them into his home, offered them some food and water, and spoke of the guild war near Romney. It started when the river pullers jacked their prices so high no one could afford to ship things down the river, he explained. That forced Mitchell Waylander to turn to the guild of the Romney. Well, let me tell you, Chief Reeve of the Riverpools didn't like that at all. Felt the new guild was trying to undercut his business, but you can't blame him. Mitchell, I mean. Jim shook his head. The Duke of Romney doesn't seem too happy about the matters either. He said, He wants you to come to the negotiations table so they can bring a halt to the violence in Romney. Arlie nodded. Bloody politics started this mess, and it looks like that's what it'll take to bring it to an end. They'll take a chunk out of the Ironmongers Guild, be sure of that. We always lost at the negotiation table. And we can tell the Duke you will negotiate, James asked. Walking to a row of shelves, he pulled down a book. Nothing else to do that I know of. Alerting James first, he tossed the tome. Thought you might like this after all your questions about the ironwork. What is it? James asked, looking at the plain leather cover. A beginner's text on the art of repairing arms and armor. I was going to throw it out to make room for a few new books that Podrick brought to me. You're welcome to it. Thanking the Reeve for his generous offer, James motioned to Gorth it was time they were on their way once again. We will tell the Duke, he said before closing the door. He will be excited, I think. I guess we go to Romney. Now I've got another book that actually is not the funnest thing in the world. Let's read. Oh, I should have read that, actually. Okay. Alright, this is the new book. Chapel's Rumor and Weapons. Well, Chapel's Rumor and Weapons. Even with a cursory glance, you could tell the book was rife with spelling errors, apparently much to the vexation of a previous reader. Large sections of the document has been struck through and rewritten in a more elegant hand in the margins of the book. If not for the crude diagrams which accompanied the text, most of the book would have been largely incomprehensible. The majority of the words misspelled, inaccurate, or so obscure that James had never heard of them. Despite the book's shortcoming, he was able to learn quite a bit about the basic repair and maintenance of weapons and armor. In a crude addendum, there was also a hastily scrawled list with useful information. It has been found that certain substances can be applied to what's going to be armor to countervoid the effects of poisons used by an opponent. In the following list, the first item of a pair can be used on armor to counter effects of the second item of the pair. Silverthorn Antidote and Silverthorn Poison. Seric's Bane and Silver Spider Poison. Flame Rut Oil. And Naphtha Ignited Blade. Dragonstone and Steel Fired Enchanted Blade. Seric's Bane and Frosted Blade. I think made by Althaphane's Icer. Clerical oilcloth and clerical oilcloth. Killian's root oil and Killian's root oil. Have everybody read the book. You need to read that one, I guess. We have too much stuff. Okay, let's go back to Romney and talk to the Duke. There was a waterfall, I think, that I didn't, That's the right way. I think I could go behind the waterfall into the caves, and I didn't. Do I have any room to sell those? No. Can't remember where the waterfall was. Need rest. This is abandoned. Junk sword. Oh, we passed it. I think. Loop. This must be it. Omni. And this is where the guy was. Sergeant at arms halted them, putting his hand against James' chest. He shook his head. I'm sorry, but the Duke is... Abruptly, he halted as the Duke appeared behind him. It's all right, the Duke said. Let them in, Sergeant. I'm expecting these fellows. I'm expecting they've come to tell me that they've convinced Arlie Steelsoul to come and help me out. Am I right? James confirmed the fact quickly, following the Duke into the deserted meeting hall. Seeing the benches had been removed from the room, he seated himself unceremoniously on the table edge with Gorth, and Owen stood by the door. Before I forget, your reward, the Duke said, opening a chest in the corner of the room. Sorting through what looked like a torn table linen and soiled riding clothes, he at last found a pouch and tossed it to James. Inside were several coins and a very valuable key. I keep my promises, he said. Now let's hope that Arlie does as well. I don't see why he wouldn't, James said, packing away the Duke's gift. He seemed honorable enough. He's in charge of a guild, the Duke replied. He has to sound honorable. In their own way, the guilds are more powerful than princedoms. You mark my words, one day I've never seen that word in my life. And Feft and Fioft. Emphoft? I don't know. Of the kingdom will cross swords with the guilds. And that it's not likely to be a bloodless affair. I think what's coming here is just a small taste of things to come. I don't know if that's a spelling mistake. Emphoft. Emphoft. Enophid? I don't know. No idea. Some words, James replied. Do you think there will be more trouble here? Not for a while. They've had enough of anarchy to do them a while, and Arlie's coming to negotiations. Should things settle a bit? After chatting a while longer, James glanced up at the darkening windows. It's getting late, and we have other business to attend to. Thank you for your services, gentlemen, the Duke said, escorting him to the door. If you're ever in Romney, please feel to drop by again. Visit again. Drop by and visit again. Let's go to the tavern. Maybe there's someone to talk to. This guy is a gambler. Hello, are you going to ask me more questions now? Have you heard anything more about the murder? Only the master says that it'll be bad for business. And we have to bump bunnies to bring people back in. Bump bunnies, that's a new expression for the books. Well, we are here and I suppose we ought to do what we can for the locals. Have anything to eat around here? Standard rations. Or get them out of the back. I can't carry them. Okay, 26 sovereigns playing the lute. I think I need anything from the shop. What was the expensive key I got? Nothing I didn't already have. What's the note about? The Crawler. Idol of Lasser. Well then. We couldn't get the Sethanon because of all the ghosts. It said if I found one of those hands and buried somebody's something, I needed a hand to find the girl's grave or something. Goodness. One was whistling. Suddenly aware his traveling companion had grown impressively cheerful over the last few miles. James turned in favor of the squire with an inquisitive stare. Why the sudden lift in your spirits? Unless I'm mistaken, we're heading towards my uncle Corval's estate in Caval Keep. Assuming we keep heading this way, are you going that direction? Sure. The other thing I could do, that priest in that one place wanted me to, like, swear off my allegiance or get rid of temptations of the flesh or something. And the other one was like, go behind water for... Supposed to go around these guys or something? Spend like seasons behind water. And I wonder if that means go behind the waterfall. James Grimace. None of the that's not a word I know either. Cordage of men arrayed against them looked to be in a good mood. And even if they had no argument with them, it was entirely possible their presence on the road meant trouble lay further ahead. Not exactly wishing for an armed confrontation, James tried to make the best of the situation. Could we be of some assistance to you fellows? You appear distressed. Distressed? Oh, aye, we are distressed in the extreme. There's that terrible mess down in Romney. And we lot are heading down the Lenahan to the River Pullers Guild. What of you, siding with Mitchell and that bloody Glazers Guild? Yes. Mitchell Waylander is a snake, and Ian is just as unspeakable. The Riverpools were granted an exclusive trade agreement by the Crown itself, and both of them have called in their own men. Now the fighting brings other guilds in. Guilds that undercut our business. How dare you side with them? The group shambled toward them. Worshippers of Weezwa, red-jawed hunter. The group moved in disorderly comp. The halls underneath their vacant eyes adorned with blood-colored whorls of pigment, displaying a three-fingered hand, the ritual mutilation of the priestly caste. The large finger rests. Today, Gisa orders us that you shall be his prey. That's right, dragon armor. 5 damage, 4 damage. 7 with that. Guess I shouldn't have swung with that weapon. Ooh. What you get for standing on the road, dudes? Really need. Don't need a whetstone. I don't really need to repair Gorth's armor either. What do I do? Roll his sword. Oh. Really pay attention. Does that guy have anything? He does not. I wonder what happens if I tell those guys I'm with the river pullers. Frank Stone. I must have got this right. Go to the waterfall? No. They were stopped by 2 men. You will go no further, one of the men commanded. Before any enters the Temple of Bath, they must strip off all metals. Under whose authority do you make those demands? We are the representatives of Prince Arutha. Order you to let us pass. The men seemed a bit taken back by this news, but as they departed, they continued to speak of their levy. Metal is based in defense of our god. He who enters the temple with metal on his person shall be struck dead. From the other side of the temple, almost out of earshot, James heard, by the will of Baneth. Pretty sure I went there already. This the waterfall? Threw something on the ground that I didn't need. Yes, the waterfall. Enter. Water cascaded over them, sloshing through the thundering curtain of water. They flung themselves down on a wet stone slab which lay behind the waterfall. Wet strands of hair dangling before their eyes, they looked around their new surroundings. A door was set into the face of the rock, and on either side, an empty iron brazier was bolted to the door's frame. To the right side, there was a small darkened niche. I don't know. James stood to. I've only ever read that word. James stood to take a closer look at the mysterious hole, discovering there a chessboard. Looks like someone was getting ready to play a match, but they were missing a piece. Oh, so I have the knight piece. Dora smiled. If it doesn't occur to you, you're as thick as a stump. James nodded, collecting the knight's piece they had acquired from the well in Kenting Rush, setting it in its missing place. He grinned with satisfaction as the door swung open. If that isn't an invitation, I've never seen one, James said. Shall we? Yes. James led. Soon they were deep in the cavern. Ooh, what is that, a spider or something? They agreed to attack. The creatures howled. Startled by the sudden assault, they thrashed about angrily as James' stomach tied itself in knots. As many times he had found himself in a fight, he could never shake the strange feeling he was about to die. Spidery buggers. I guess I'll just blind them. Untap. That was easy. It's that green thing there. Use the telescope in the cave. Clawed through the thick limbs of the bush. Something a small dark berry. He nodded and called the others. They're edible. Let me see if there are enough here to bundle a small pack. They're poisoned, aren't they? Nope. I don't think there's ever anything on these bodies. More spiders. Oh, what is that? They agreed to attack. Nighthawk down here too. Opponents were not surprised. Owen tried to swallow the lump that suddenly seemed to be caught in his throat. Heart pounding furiously, he forced himself to take a breath, remain calm, and think rationally. Trying to sound brave, he muttered under his breath, This would have been a lot easier if our little visit hadn't been expected. Dang, die. Chest. A shimmering field that reaches far, yet it has no tracks and is crossed without paths. Like ocean? It's keeping a ruby. Wasn't that keeping an emerald as well? Yeah. I have a 70% ruby. This one's 89. Guess I'll just take it. Sharpen his blade for 1%. Light crossbow. Two ways to go in this room. It's locked. Good picket. One way to go in this room. Good picket. Bad guy. Oops. Walked it again. Agreed to attack. The enemy jumped back. James felt a surge of confidence as the enemy struggled in desperation to meet their attack. Judging by the speed at which they had regained their composure, he guessed that they were well trained and could provide quite a fight. We hit that one. Start coming back to life, aren't they? Final rest. Don't get the loot of the ones I final rested. I don't know if you just have to kill them twice or if they keep coming back forever unless you do that. I have no idea. Go around the edge of the place. 2 ways to go again. Poison. Two uses of that. Might as well use it up. Another body. Dang it. This for... Yeah, it's for weapons and armor. Use it too, then. What can we get rid of? Oh, does it stack? Okay. It's stacked with my other one. We'll keep it. Let's go left. Bad guys. Then we jump back. Use final rest on them before they're dead? No. We'll knock them out when they come back. Oh no. Didn't have to final rest them. Who's got the blue potions? Miss any treasures? No. Looks like the dead end is gonna move behind us though if there's no treasures ahead of us. Fucked up. Good picket. Oh, there's so many bad guys. Enemy jump back. try to go without final rest again, just to see. Two bodies on top of each other here. This one. One use of that. Might as well use it. The enemy jumped back. How do you know which ones come back to life? I don't even know. There's a box in here. Whoever has it is angry. Whoever loses it is angrier. Whoever wins it has it no more. Probably not gonna figure this one out either. Notepad. Hmm. Guessing it doesn't start with E. Daw. Das? Probably not those. I can't even guess. Whoever has it is angry. Whoever loses it is angrier. Whoever wins it has it no more. Guess we're not figuring that one out. Osho Maxim. I read that. And all the bodies. Been in that room. Went that way. Didn't go all the way back in that. Try that. Not west? West. You tie these things before you go and untie them after you stop. Is it just like shoes? Creatures howled. Finally, a dead end. On a pit to jump across. Let's try the other way first. In either direction. The enemy jump back. Bunch of food. Poison. It's trapped. Let's save first. Trap was deactivated. Ooh, elven crossbow. Applying the same principles used on the famed elven longbows, the crossbow had a composite bow made of wood, bone, and sinew, and the tiller was sheathed in parchment. If not Elven himself, Owen guessed the artisan of the crossbow had at least been in close contact with the archers of Elvendar. 25 plus squirrel plus skill. Skill. Blech. 1. 20. And we could use this icer if anybody has any room. They don't. Unless it stacks. It doesn't. As James slid the tip of the magical artifact down the length of the sword, glittering blue frost formed on the blade. Assuming his victim wasn't using some form of Scarab's bane on his armor, the enchantment would make any wound done with the sword incredibly painful. Now, is this thing 20 plus coral minus 5 plus coral plus skill better than this? More damage but less accuracy. I don't hit anything with a crossbow anyways, I'll keep the The medium. That was the chest, right? Did I do all the bodies? Oh. Another dead end. Did I go this way? No. That appears to be a circle. Right, there's a pit to jump over. If there's anywhere left to go up there, I can't quite remember. More bad guys, but a couple chests. Only one bad guy? A nighthawk awaited them. Reaching inside the black folds of his tunic, he drew out something that gleamed in the gloom, but rather than lunging forward, he snaked his hand to his mouth and bit down, acting before James could realize what he was doing. He just swallowed poison, James said, holding Gorth back. Just as well. Saveth the trouble of killing him. Crouching down to study the quavering face on the nighthawk, a look of disgust twisting his features, James continued. I'll wager as well he wasn't the leader and that the door beyond will be locked. We'll find whoever is running this ring and we'll find the key we need. How can you guess all that? No one asked, perplexed by his statement. He doesn't have a key on him. Secondly, I don't believe the leader of the Guild of Death would simply commit suicide. More likely he'd try to take as many of us with him as he could when he went. I really need them potions. Ditch the food. 2 potions. We'll come back in just a minute. If the leader's going to be beyond the door. Ten trolls strength, 10 trolls length. 1 troll can pick it up. No troll can stand it up. I remember this one. I think it's rope. Abbott's journal. We'll get rid of this note. This sparkling globe can float on water and weighs not more than a feather, yet despite its weight, 10 giants could never pick it up. Is it bubble? Read the Abbott's journal. Spying a patchwork of cracked hide and shiny leather, new pages sandwiched between ancient sheaves of parchment. The book had been repaired numerous times during its long history. A translation of an ancient account of the travels of an abbot from Malk's Cross. The book was filled with stories and notes on mythology. Apparently, the abbot had been looking for proof of the existence of a sword known as the Guard of Revanche, cursed blade which was often associated with the Mordel. Shortly before the end of the journal, he related a curious tale. So came I unto the abbey of Killian, which stood unto the western fringe of the forest of the Eladhel, so named Elvendar, and there was shown a fairy chest upon whose face were runes which are common unto the Elven and Mordel kin. A certain father then did turn the strange cylinders which were on the face of the chest, forming a new word unfamiliar to me, Glamredhel, but one which threw the latches, opened the latches which bound closed the lid of the box. From within he brought a finely jeweled hilt, which he called the Gata. His father then told me it had come from a ruin of an ancient place, and since there was much misfortune come onto their abbey, and they willed it should be returned there for its eternal rest. He also did tell me other things strange and wondrous of the legend, saying a spell had been bound into a shell that would repair the blade, which had long been broken away, describing this shell as one marked with an uneven surface of 10 misformed lumps. A shell that will repair the blade. I don't have that. Ugh. I can't even speak. Well, I think I know where the blade is. It's in that cave. Macmordain Cal or whatever it's called. If it's trapped. It is trapped. Save really quick. Trap was deactivated. Garbage. Let me jump back. We need rest. Loot these bodies first. Only need 2%. Waste of whetstone. North to go. No! When's the last time I saved? Probably not too long ago. Let's go somewhere I want, even. Let's go. We'll go. Is that a dead end? many pits. Bad guys. Enemy, jump back. Another body there. There's another. Oh, we can't put this on the body, can I? Nope. This wondrous thing, though not an herb, can comfort the weak and the dying. It can even be used to rally the troops or make one start laughing or crying. Well, not an herb. Oops. Gotta type in moist. Music? Is. Use one of those then. Alright, how many places are left to go? Is that a dead end? Have not gone left. let's go back to where that leader was, which would be south, I think. Let's make sure we don't fall in the pit. Here and here. James frowned. Peering through the hole in the inner workings of the lock, he saw nothing within that gave him a cause to be enthusiastic about the chances of getting in. This lock takes a very special key and is clearly not pickable. Go on and we'll have to find the key. Pick it. Oh. Broke the key. Jam it, I don't think. Alright then, well. Way down was ahead. Up. Stones littered the stairwell. Taking a few steps, James realized the passageway was utterly choked with stony refuse. It's no good, he said with a sigh. We won't be getting through all that mess. Well, there's one chest we didn't open that could have the key in it, I guess, but which chest was it? And then, was there any ways we didn't go yet? Is this a dead end? Yes. That one's a dead end. What about that one? I think it is. Why did it say the trap went off on that? Pretty sure I didn't set the trap off. Box was charred. Have to find the chest I didn't guess, I guess. How do we not go down there yet? Oh, because that's where that locked door is. Whoever has it is angry. Whoever loses it is angrier. Whoever wins it is no more. Has it no more. Oops, did I mess up? I think I clicked one of those twice. Just don't know. This city. This soul. Like nerve doesn't fit. Whoever loses his nerve, no. Temper, no. Dispute. And no key though. Have one of those already. There's room for it. Applied the blades, does it say? Armor. Hmm. Where am I supposed to find that key? I think I solved all the chests in this place. I guess we'll keep looking for it for 45 minutes, and if I don't find it before the end, or at the end of this stream, I'll look it up before tomorrow's stream. Alrighty. Caval Keep, Kenting Rush, Din Camp, North Warden. We haven't been to Sethanon yet. Wonder where that shop was now that sells the mummified hand or zombie hand. Try Prankstone. How far is Prankstone? Here we go. Roots and herbs. Could be it. No, it's not. Damn it. I saw it in a store somewhere. Romney Sloop. Is there another store in this town? No. We need rest. A grave. Didn't need to rest that much. Oh no, this is the stupid. We're not touching that. The Prankstone, it takes your items and sticks them in a box somewhere, and I can't remember where the box is. Building? That's the waterfall. I think it was, unless this is the waterfall. It is. Go back to Cabal Keep. Eugene shouted at them, stationed herself before her cousin. She fixed them with her pale amber stare. Back so soon? I shall have to find out what the young lady has caught your eye in Cabal Keep. Actually, we're back to ask you a few questions. You have time for us? Well, I suppose I can fit you in after the lance returning and then the ball because you know how busy Cabal Keep always is. You're absolutely incorrigible. Anyone ever tell you that? Perhaps. Now, what is it you want? Some bit of gossip about my new former handmaidens? About my now former handmaidens? Sorry about Peter the Grey? Goodbye. We already talked about her 2 times. Now, the shop here. You have what I'm looking for? No, you're the sign of the sword. The shop that I want is either further along the road that I've already been to or not. Oh, what's that? Etc. goods. Boom. Need rest. I need food. Someone called to them. Though the sun was in James's eyes, he fairly certain that the man approaching them now was Navon de Sandu, a merchant they had met in Kenting Rush before. Did not expect to see you 3 again for quite some time. How can Navon de Sandu be upset to see you? Word. Eugene Corvallis told us she loaned you a book about the Guard of Revanche. Might I borrow it back from you? Unfortunately, I don't have it on my person. I left it at home. At home? Are you certain you didn't misplace it anywhere? As it is alone, I keep it in a very safe place where it cannot become damaged. More like Cabal Run? I've always wondered what the leaders of the Nighthawks might be like, and now it seems we meet face to face. Ah. Interesting conclusion. How did you arrive at it? We found the Abbot's journal in Cabal Run after we had a slight run-in with a few of your men. We mentioned earlier that you thought that Count Corvallis might have killed his son, but I recall the body was never found, and you have displayed an unerring interest in the Corvallis family. The kind of interest that a son might display in a family from whom he has been separated. Did you kill yourself, or was that your father's doing? I believe congratulations are in order. You've accomplished what my father, his men, and the king's detachment from Bastira were unable to achieve. You are a clever man. Why the Nighthawks, Navon, or should I call you Neville? Suppose for a moment a woman bears her husband a strong, attractive, intelligent son. As he grows, he shows every sign that he will make a fine man, but somehow different. Suppose that at about age 11, the boy's father discovers that the boy is not in fact his son, but the son of another man, a bastard. Among the common folk, it would be no great crime, but supposing the fooled father was noble, that would change things, wouldn't it? What if the real father had gotten the child upon the indiscreet noblesse as a means to gain power? You became a threat to the succession, so the Count opted to eliminate you. He locked you in the wine cellar, but you found your way into the care of the Nighthawks. Yes, they had come to Cabal to regroup following their rout by Prince Arutha, and initially they thought to ransom me. When they realized the Count wouldn't pay for my return, they decided to kill me, but I convinced them I had mental powers. The spyglass. It has been useful on more than one occasion. It gave me control of the Nighthawks and allowed me to predict my father's moves. He believed I was dead, of course, but the appearance of Navon de Sandu years later made him nervous. He believed I might know about the scandal and would tell what I know. That wouldn't have been any fun. Far better to torture your murderer than to simply kill him, don't you think? He became most agitated when I torched the family's keep. It was a shame to lose it, but a necessary sacrifice. So you could have control of the caverns underneath the keep, a perfect hiding place for you and your men, and an excellent rendezvous with the Moradel with whom you were dealing? The tunnels were extensive and relatively unknown by any outside of the family. Besides, as husband to Eugene, I would eventually have been its rightful master. Not that I would have conjugated the marriage, Ishab forbid. She would have died some unpleasant death on our wedding night. Tragedy seems to plague the Corvallis family. Between the family fortune and Delacon's deposits with Izanatus and Cabal Keep, I could have run the Nighthawks indefinitely. I want the key, Navon. Hand it over. Perhaps you would take it from me. You would like to take it from me. Since you first arrived in Romney looking for the Nighthawks, I've been watching you, Senor James. For years, I've heard tales about Jimmy the Hand from the men who survived your Nighthawk purges in Krondor. From the men. They told very impressive tales about you. Now it's time to see if you can match a true Nighthawk in combat. Navon ripped off his tunic. Beneath he bore a familiar uniform of the Guild of Death, a gold hawk emblazoned on a black gambazon. Ordinarily I do not dress so heavily, he said with a grin, withdrawing his weapon, but you interrupted some business I was planning to take care of. How do you like your eyeballs? Flashed? Didn't work on him. Yeah, I get zapped. Or root oiled or whatever I have on my blade. There, go poke him. Nice. Battle was won. Oh, that is a strange key. Stellar key. Gorth yelped as the tin key's serrated edge dug into the fleshy part of his palm. Angered, he held up the key for closer investigation. Evidently, the key had been fashioned in a hurry. Its edges left jagged and its face decorated only with a small wave-shaped sigil. Whoever made the key had not intended it for use on a daily basis. And I have a great sword for me, too. Man, I can't carry any of this. And blessed dragon armor? Come on. I don't need torches. Oh, I've been carrying that. One of these dumb books can go to. This laser seal can go. Where's the book that has, like, you know. I think the diamond. You can stack any of that. Stack it does not. What is this for? Armor. Oh, I kind of want the greatsword, I think. And this guy has the worst armor. You take this? Been carrying around these stupid things for too long. Oops. 36, 10, 52, and 0. Easier to hit with the rapier, but this will be 10 less to hit than this. Okay. Navon, I'm concerned by Count Corvallis' increasing patrols in the area. I think he will soon discover the entrance behind the waterfall. I know you don't credit him with much intelligence, but his patrol may accidentally follow one of Delacon's envoys. Please return south of Caval Keep as soon as possible. Inventory right full of stuff. Oh, did it stack? It did stack. Wow. You read that one already? This is abandoned. Really need any money to sell anything. I'd like one of those hands though. Place doesn't have a shop. Those keys rings. Alright, we need food. Take this book. No. Is there an inn? Not the inn. It'll be usually a 2-story building, if there is one. Hooray. 27 sovereigns with loot. Food's not too expensive. $13 sovereigns a night. Somebody stole my gold while I was sleeping. If they do it again. Yeah, they did. They sold 7 gold. These barding abilities. I can get rid of that. Notepad. Nice. Alright. Save it twice. Now, let's go back to... We didn't find one of those hands yet, though. Oh, whatever. Run into it eventually. Sure, there's a grave you can dig up to find one, too. I have to tell the princess that her suitor is dead. Murdered him. Nope. What about telling... This guy is the accountant. James roused the occupants. The door crept open with a small squeak, just enough to allow a pale-eyed girl in a dust-caked skirt to peek out at them. She studied them with a doubtful look, hesitant to let strangers in. Yes, what is it? Stepping around the seigneur, James peered into the girl with a puzzled expression, then brightened. Miri, it's okay. It may look a little rough, but they're with me. Well, I already... Nephew, senor. Ah, Elvin, sir. Is there any other way that I may help you? Nighthawks. Want a direct answer from you, Count. Do you have any association with the Guild of Death? Yes or no? What nonsense is this? Why should you believe it possible? Avon de Sandu told us you have hired assassins on many occasions. As bodyguards, who better to hire to watch me than those who have made a profession of stalking others, but I have never employed a member of the Guild of Assassins for any other cause. Those in my employ guard my estates and the persons of myself and my daughter, nothing else. How did you manage to contact these men? I asked the priests of Kahuli to send the men to me, and I never knew how to contact them directly. After the keep burned down, I asked for more help, but the priest told me the Nighthawks had fallen in disfavor with the temple, and they could no longer summon them to serve. Kahuli priest. The only thing about the temple of Kahuli, we were talking to them earlier, and they seem to have this strict code of behavior they asked their followers to adhere to. You said you were a member of the temple of Kahuli, and the temple isn't as stringent as it appears from the outside. So long as you collect their tithes, so long as they collect tithes from their worshippers, I hope this year their collectors are a little brighter than the ones they have sent in the years past. They almost never found the tithe I hid for them in the years previous. Alright. Most helpful, Count Corvallis, but it's time we return to our business. Please give regards to your daughter Eugene. I shall, senor. Good traveling. Blah, blah, blah. So I guess we don't tell that guy that we found the leader of the Nighthawks. That was Navon, his son, and we killed him. I guess he doesn't need to know. Maybe next chapter. Let's go to the waterfall again. We need rest. Zoom. That's it. And then we don't fall in a pit while I'm not looking. Doesn't matter which way I go, I guess. Wrong button. You can go north all the way around or west all the way around. Doesn't matter. And then take a left. Right. All right, we got this fancy key. There's a chest. Nowhere to go. I have a feeling something funny is going to happen when I open this. This engulfing thing is strange indeed. The greater it grows, the less you see. Is it just darkness? Ah. Spider scurried out of the open chest. Careful to avoid the miniature albino menaces, James snatched a fresh-looking scroll out of the box and unrolled it on the floor. As his dark eyes darted across the page, his lips moved in an incantation of places, names, figures, and dates. North Warden, James whispered. The attack will come at North Warden very soon, but this is all wrong. What is it? Gorth asked, also bending to see the page. These figures. If Delicon takes a force this small to North Warden, he hasn't a hope of taking the castle. Far too few soldiers. Baron Gabbett will maul him unless Delicon can bring something serious to bear. What could the Mordredel have? Maybe the Nighthawks have infiltrated the castle, Owen said. Why else would they be so helpful to the Mordredel unless their own necks were on the line too? Failing, James suddenly snatched an inkhorn from his pack and began to scribble an addendum to the Nighthawk note. It's very important that this note reach Arutha. Although you were not told this, he has stationed an army outside of the Dimwood to await my word about the attack, James said, finishing his note. Fixing his gaze on Gorth, he handed it firmly over. I want you to make sure that it gets there. I'm going to have to trust you. Owen gaped. But what about... I've got to go to North Warden. If there are Nighthawks in Baron Gebbett's castle, we stand a good chance of losing it in an attack. I have to ensure that doesn't happen. Remember, Arthur is outside the Dimwood Forest near Sethanon. When you give him the note, tell him there's a party at Mother's. What? Owen sputtered. Just do it. I haven't got time to explain. Good luck, to both of you. In a moment, the Seigneur was gone, his shadow chasing after him down the long dark tunnel. An hour later, Owen yawned expansively, his vision growing dim with each step taken further down the road. Next to him, Gorth trudged without complaint, his eyes fixed on the dusty cow track. Enough, enough, Owen murmured. I think my legs are going to crumble. But we can't reach Arutha tonight. Let's stop for a while. Quiet, Gorth snapped, seizing Owen by the arm. Beneath his hood, his feral eyes glowed like blood-tinged emeralds. Someone's near. Abruptly, patches of darkness detached themselves from the woods, ambled into the pale moonlight, huddled into the roadbed in the shadows. Arrow points gleamed, aligned in deadly sights, quivered. Nerub. As much as I would enjoy delivering your carcass to Delicon, I will reserve the pleasure of your execution for him. Do not move, Goreth. You are completely surrounded. Chapter 4. Marked for Death. The war drums had begun at dawn. Stalking quietly the corridors of the ancient fortress, Nerub carried a witch light to illuminate his way. As he approached the doors to the Great Hall, 2 Mordell guards dressed in full battle regalia stood away. They made no sound as he whisked past, nor blinked at the sight of him. Greetings, Nerub, a cold voice called from the throne. It has been a long time since I've seen your face in Sargoth. Have you grown bolder or more the fool? Nerub knelt at the base of the throne and kissed Delicon's foot. That is for you to decide. If my words are not to your liking, then my life is yours. It is already mine, Delicon's wolfish eyes blazed in the darkness. Speak, he commanded. I have just returned from a journey into the kingdom. I bring a prize. I have no interest in valueless baubles. This is no bauble, Nerub said, cutting off Delicon, and I think you will find it is of great value. And it would have a name, this thing? Yes, my lord, its name is Goreth. Nerub sneered pridefully as he awaited his leader's praise, awaited the words that would restore his place in Moradel favor and rescind the order of death on his head. Perhaps he would even have a place among the new lords. Delicon lunged from his throne, his razor-edged gauntlet tilting a bloody seam across Nerub's face as he lashed him backwards. You wrecked everything, you dog, Delicon bellowed. But I have brought back the enemy of the Northlands, Nerub sputtered, blood dripping from his torn lips. With Goreth captive, we can proceed with our... You know nothing! Nerub retreated, suddenly aware that his efforts were wasted and that his oath of loyalty meant nothing to his hateful lord. Resolutely, he stifled a flash of pain as the Mordell leader thundered towards the doors. And what of my life? Nerub whispered. Halting, Delicon turned and hissed. It is forfeit. Owen didn't want to be awake. Perhaps it was the drugs they had given him, or the endless walking that he had done in the past month and a half. All he could think about was sleeping now and the restful non-existence that interrupted the beatings and the haulings and the exhaustion. He just wanted to sleep, but that irritating jangle wouldn't let him. Where was it coming from? Goreth, he asked. Are you there? Suddenly the jangle rattled louder, this time accompanied by a loud crack and a flood of torchlight as bright as the sun. Out of the glowing corona lumbered the largest Mordell he had yet seen. Delicon. See, my assistants have been overzealous in their efforts to sedate you. It is proper to tremble when you are addressed by Delicon, leader of the unified tribes of the Northlands. We found this among your things, kingdom dog. Tell me where you were going with it. We weren't taking it anywhere. We just needed to pick up everything we could carry and ran. We just needed gold. A lie. The seal that the Nighthawks used for our messages was broken. The new writing at the bottom of the page confirms your guilt. What does Gabbat's folly mean? Who are Arthur and Jimmy the Hand? Really have no idea. Someone else must have beaten us to it and opened the scroll before we got there. We took what we found and left before we got nabbed. You want us to cut you in on the booty? What I want is information. Your companion Goreth damns you as certainly as your lie does. Until he betrayed his own, he was second in power only to me. He shall die for his disloyalty. Since you choose to remain silent, I shall have your tongue and feed it to my rats. Have back your message, spy. It will do you a little good in your grave. Delicon stalked away. Still rattled by his interrogation, Owen tried to collect his fuzz-coated thoughts in a coherent whole. Thankfully, his wits had provided the lies as needed, but only narrowly had he avoided the impulse to tell everything he knew. It was almost as if he was being prodded, coerced, bewitched. Magic. Astonished he had been unaware of it at the time, the boy looked again at the bulky warrior who now stood whispering over Goreth's limp form. At first he believed Delicon was incanting a spell, one perhaps intended to coerce the truth from his victim, but after a few moments it became clear that the warlord was conversing with his barely conscious friend. No, Goreth croaked, shaking his head. Plans unfulfilled, Delicon whispered finally. Abruptly he struck. Boof. It was too much to absorb. Even if the events unfurling before him weren't openly damning, Owen had seen enough to keep him swimming in a sea of doubts, all of them centering on the loyalty of his friend and traveling companion. Worse still, he had to deliver the message to Prince Arutha outside the Dimwood, and he would need Goreth's help to do it. Desperately, he wished he had time to sort things out, but time was the one commodity he didn't have. Enjoy your deaths. I know I shall. Delicon's scratchy voice snatched Owen out of his thoughts, directed his attention to where the Mordell stood in the doorway, gesturing to someone in the dungeon corridor. From nowhere, a monolithic door swung into place, and once again the room was a land of shadows. Experimentally, Owen struck the bars of his cage, knowing full well the corroded structure was too solid to yield. But even as his fingertips came away from the metal, the bars began a keening vibration, the iron harmonies evocative of the distant temple bells. Someone was working magic, and it wasn't him. Owen wasted no time. Later, he could debate to his heart's content who it was that had set them free and what their reasons for doing so might be. But at the moment, he had no thought in him but finding a means to get out of the darkened cell alive. Hurrying to Gorath, he freed him of his iron manacles and allowed the Mordell to lean against his shoulder as they limped together towards the heavy dungeon door. Again, tugging at the handle, they found that the lock was undone, another gift from their unknown benefactor. What about the guard? Owen whispered, allowing Gorath to stand once more on his own. Gorath lifted his head and spoke, his speech still slurred by the drugs that had been administered to them. Keep moving, he said, waving a hand at the door. No one is there. Pushing out the door, they found themselves confronting a wide hallway with passages leading in 3 other directions. Chapter 4, Marked for Death. Escape the Northlands. Do I have any gear? No. Only a torch. No money. There's a dead guy. Boiled ration, I don't want that. Right. Couple boxes. I guess I'll open the boxes. Oh, it's my stuff. Okay. Oh, darn. Put this back. Dang it. Do I have my keys? I do. So this is the hard part of the game that I remember. Now we have to escape the Northlands. So I think I'll loot this all and then save the escape part for next stream. Probably don't need these dumb torches. Did a lot of battles. It'd be too crazy for you. Well, the guys here are tough. I think they're those troll things with the eye pokes and stuff. Did I get everything? Think about the torches. Their body over here. Never did train anybody else in lockpicking before. The other guys. I don't imagine I need that night piece anymore. Alright. We left behind torches, spoiled ration. Rope and lockpicks. I can pick up the rope. Might as well pick up the lockpicks. I don't think we need a night piece. Might regret that later. Maybe I'll ditch the books. Alright. And when I come back, there'll be 3 different ways to go. There's 4, so one of them must be returned to my cells. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next stream, I guess. We'll do episode 11 of Betrayal at Krondor, and we'll try to escape the Northlands. We're in Sargoth. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for likes and follows and subscribes, for pressing the buttons and stuff like that. If you want to see more episodes or more of the games I play, check out the live tab on my YouTube or the playlist tab over there. And peace. Love you. See you tomorrow. Ciao.